touching upon touching, at the limit. When two hands touch, there is a sensuality of the flesh, an exchange of warmth, a feeling of pressure, of presence, a proximity of otherness that brings the other nearly as close as oneself, perhaps closer. And if the two hands belong to one person, might this not enliven an uncanny sense of the otherness of the self, a literal holding oneself at a distance in the sensation of contact, the greeting of the stranger within? So much happens in a touch, an infinity of others, other beings, other spaces, other times are aroused. When two hands touch, how close are they? What is the measure of closeness? Which disciplinary knowledge formations, political parties, religious and cultural traditions, infectious disease authorities, immigration officials, and policymakers do not have a stake in, if not a measured answer to this question? When touch is at issue, nearly everyone's hair stands on end. I can barely touch on even a few aspects of touch here, at most offering the barest suggestion of what it might mean to approach, to dare to come in contact with this infinite finitude. Many voices speak here in the interstices, a cacophony of always already, reiteratively interacting stories. These are entangled tales. Each is diffractively threaded through and enfolded in the other. Is that not in the nature of touching? Is touch not by its very nature always already an involution, invitation, and visitation, wanted or unwanted, of the stranger within? Touch, for a physicist, is but an electromagnetic interaction. A common explanation for the physics of touching is that one thing it does not involve is, well, touching. That is, there is no actual contact involved. You may think you are touching a coffee mug when you are about to raise it to your mouth, but your hand is not actually touching the mug. Sure, you can feel the smooth surface of the mug's exterior right where your fingers come into contact with it, or seem to, but what you are actually sensing is the electromagnetic repulsion between the electrons of the atoms that make up your fingers and those that make up the mug. Electrons are tiny negatively charged particles that surround the nuclei of atoms, and having the same charges, they repel one another, much like powerful little magnets. As you decrease the distance between them, the repulsive force increases. Try as you might, you cannot bring two electrons into direct contact with each other. The reason the desk feels solid, or the cat's coat soft, or we can even hold coffee cups in one another's hands, is an effect of electromagnetic repulsion. All we ever really feel is the electromagnetic force, not the other whose touch we seek. Atoms are mostly empty space, and electrons, which lie at the farthest reaches of an atom, hinting at its perimeter, cannot bear direct contact. Electromagnetic repulsion. Negatively charged particles communicating at a distance push each other away. That is the tale physics usually tells about touching. Repulsion at the core of attraction. See how far that story gets you with lovers. No wonder the romantic poets had had enough. At this point, I want to touch upon the nature of touch as understood by quantum field theory. But I am faced with the word count limit that accompanies this invitation, with a boundary that in essence holds me at bay, preventing me from touching upon touch. As such, I cannot touch touch. But is this not in the very nature of touch? Is the limit not already inside? Is there a sense in which the stopping of touching, its limit, is always already a touching that is constitutive of the very nature of limit itself? And even in emptiness, is there not nothing but touching? How to grasp such a boundary in of time in the enforcement of counting the uncountable. Already over the limit, if you will allow me, perhaps I might gesture towards what I haven't yet touched upon. Or have I? Quantum field theory reworks the nature of touch, of bodies, of the void between and within bodies. Matter is no longer understood as eternal or bits of fixed essence. Matter's very essence is an undoing of essence, a matter of transience, the undoing of self and of kind. Matter is constituted as a matter of self-touching the other within. How to touch upon the politics of touching in this moment of entangled global crises of touching, limits, and boundaries, especially when one is past the limit and out of time.